Hey, this is Andy Dahl from Everything Wheels, and today we're working on the headlights. I can't find any wiring diagrams online because every time I go to certain ones it's like a virus, so I got to watch out for that. And it seems like Kenworth is kind of hard to find wiring diagrams, so I'm trying to figure it out. Well, what I've learned so far is that a normal light or running light is this one, which has a ground, power, high and low beam. Well, ground and high and low beam. And then this one is a slave to it. It doesn't have a ground, it just has two connections. And when you turn the headlights on, it uses the ground off of this one to ground these to make it go to high beam. So these are new here, these bezels are new, which have lights on the bottom, and they have running lights. They have a ground, a running light, and I think for turn signals they do something a little bit different. Nothing came with those on how to use them, so I got to figure that out. So what I have found out, and here if you take a look, you can see this is the high beam connection. It only has two, and believe it or not, when I hook this up, I can show you the connection here in a little bit, but I put the other plug, I don't even use that plug, I turn the light upside down and just plug into here and here, and then the other spade is on top, hitting nothing because you don't need it, and the headlights work. So that's that. So on this one here, the main connections here, I have to swap out, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but these green wires need to be put over on this side and the ground needs to be put on this side. So I'm going to give that a try and see what happens. Hopefully this video will help you putting LED lights into a T600. So I got the first one connector out. Let's see if we can get a better view of it. And you can see on these, it has this little tab on it right here, this brass tab. What you do is you take this tool, and from the underside, you can see the little groove. I used the small, yeah, use that one there. You push that up in there, like that. And what it does is, it's hard to see, it bends that little tab right there down. And that's how you pull that out. So I'm gonna do the other side, hook the lights up and see what we get. So as you can see that tab on there. And all I did was take this knife and flip it up. Now it's ready to go back in the side. I've already got the black wire turned around, and now I'm gonna put this in there and try the light and see if that works. Well, that worked. The only thing is, I think that's, I think it's high beam. I'm not quite sure. And then we'll try putting it on high beam and see what we have. If it's any different, I might have got it right. Well, obviously that's a little bit wrong because now this side's on low beam and that's on high beam. So I got it working, but look at the connection on this. Look how the connection is not touching. That's because it's only using the two. So now what I think I need to do is I need to swap I think the black one's good. I just need to swap the red and the green on this one. Go back and swap the red and the green, and that should make it work correctly. So we'll give that a try. It took a little bit to figure it out. It was just a little perplexing. So this is the way I can get these LED lights to work. I knew it was just a little bit of a change in the wiring, because what happened was I'd turn the lights on to just low and I get the high beam. Now the black is actually ground, but each one of these have to change into a different location. So this is what I turned it into. So we have red on the top, green to the left, and black to the right. So this is for the LED light. Now let's go over here and look at the standard one. They have black to to the left, green to the right, and red to the bottom. So they basically have to shift all the way around. Again, red, green to the left, and black to the right. So I'm going to switch the other ones around, and I think I'm actually going to turn these around too, so that the ground part of it goes into the right spot, just so it's covered. Yeah, that looks kind of chintzy, so we'll give that a try. That took me about an hour to figure this out. The slaves and all that, but I got it all figured out. I got it here on a piece of paper. You can take a look at it. Let's go like that. Maybe that's better. Yeah. So on the left-hand side, you have the Kenworth plugs, and on the right-hand side, you have the new LED lights. And this is for the outside light, which is the standard just run light. And as you can see, I had to move the connectors kind of around. Actually just rotated them all one slot to the left. Just all that. And then these are the slave lights that are just, so the inside, towards the inside of the truck. And these are the high beam slave lights. And basically I just swapped them around and the lights work. Next, I'm going to be working on I'm going to have to get a ground wire, a running light wire, and a blinker light wire into the back of the bezel. I'm going to see if they fit in the thing that holds the headlight assembly on the front of the truck. If not, I may have to drill into the back part of the plastic and put a grommet in there. So that's what I'm going to try next and see. I also have to figure out a way to connect the right and the left headlights, because the blinkers and the running lights on these lights are here. So they're yellow and white on both sides. So if they're going to blink, they're going to blink on the inside, and if they're just running lights, then it'll just be a running light. And then not only do we have to get those to connect, but we also have to get these wires connected. So ground, red and white, one's running and one's blinker. So it's going to be neat at night, but I just got to figure out how I want to do that. So that's next. So after looking at this and reviewing it, the headlights are good to go. Now I'm just working on the other part of the truck, the internal lights on the LED lights and the bezels that go around it. I'm going to take those inside and do those because it's freaking cold out here. I'll do that inside. This is the wiring diagram for the headlight assembly. I like to draw them first, and then when I have time, I have a computer program that I can put them into and do nice colors and that and diagrams. It works out pretty nice. So if I do have time to do that, I may put that on my channel so that you can download it, because there's nothing really else showing what Kenworth headlights are like, the wiring on them. So of course this is a mod. So now let's get into the lighting. So I figured something out this morning. Of course, one thing is warmer in here than it is outside, but so I'm going to show you how the lights work. This is a new LED headlight. It's I think all four of these only cost $186. I'll check the price on later. But anyway, so we have high and low beams, and then we have turn signals and running lights inside the light. So I'll show you those. I'm using my race car's battery that I have for the 240 to light this up. So let's see if we can do this. We'll just connect this to the ground. And maybe that's not going to connect as nice as I thought. There we go. And it's not participating. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and try these out. So this should be the running lights. That's the way the running lights will be. And then these are the turn signals. So this is kind of nice. I think that's low beam, and that's high beam. So we got those figured out. And now for the LEDs in this section of the bezel. So it has 3 wires, and I made a connector for it. So these are waterproof. Then I also have, can make labels. So we got turn, ground, and running lights. So the turn light, I connect it to the battery here. That would be the turn light. During the daytime, it would do this. And I'm taking the wire on and off of the positive to make it do that. But that'll be the turn signal. And then when the running lights are on, the turn signal won't work because there's no way to get those circuits separate. So that would be just a running light during the daytime. So you would have that. So that's the setup for these lights. So I've got that figured out. Now the other thing you need to figure out is actually how you want to wire it. And this is a wiring diagram that I came up with. I showed a little bit earlier the other one, but so we have the headlights, factory headlights. That I switched the grounds around on that. I changed actually just rotated the green, the black, and the red around one. This is the turn signal from the headlight and the running light from the headlight. Those are bullet connectors here. I still have to finish those up. And then this is the bezel light at the bottom. The bezel light, I didn't have the same wire colors that they had, but I got plenty of extra wire, so I'm not going to go out and buy specific ones just to match. So the white one, which is ground, is gray and comes over to a bus bar. And if you've never seen a bus bar, basically that's the bus bar. Now I still have to, these are separated, but I also need to separate this. These all 3 are connected together. So if you put ground to this, it'll ground all these wires. So I'm going to cut it right there. And then this will be my ground connection. This will be these 2 will be the turn signal, and these will be the running lights. So that's just this thing right here. So we have the inner light, which again, the inside light out of the 2 on the front, it's just a slave to the outside light. So it's only using 2 of the greens. And I just switched those from the factory. I just switched them around on those. So that's pretty much how this is going to be set up. Of course, we have the red light and for running light, and the yellow light for the blinkers. So the only other thing I need to do is I need to get that power supply from the truck. So I have to figure that out. So basically the bezel or the headlight assembly it's pretty thick plastic. So what I'm gonna have to do is find 3 sources of, well, the ground's gonna be easy because that just has to go out and go to a negative ground. Could be bolted down somewhere, but the turn light and the running light, I kind of have to take a look and see where I want to pick that up. If you've ever done wiring before, I've wired a couple of race cars and rewired my Datsun 240Z. you kind of have to get a feel for where the wires want to go, believe it or not. Not that where you want to take them, and how they lay out. And I noticed that this part of the light is the closest to the inside of the truck, which is closest to the wiring pack on the truck. So it'd be less movement in this area. So that's the plan for that. So also, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 2-part epoxy and glue this to the inside of the headlight assembly with epoxy. I thought about they got holes so that you can drill them out and bolt them through, but that means I have electrical wires or bolts. I have holes drilled through the light assembly, which may not be the best thing to do. So we'll give that a try. Why not? If all else fails, then I can end up just drilling through the assembly and getting that taken care of. So that is the lights, and I do a lot of, like I said, I do a lot of wiring. So this is a label maker. You can make flags, anything kind of labels you want to make, and you can adjust whatever. So I use it a lot, and it was a good purchase. It's probably too much cost for if you're only going to do this one time, so but it works for me. Now I just have to figure out my bullet connectors, and that's what I'm going to do next. And once there's light outside, we'll go out and start reassembling. So a little bit of a disclaimer here. Make sure, if you want to get this wiring diagram that I've set up to work for you, that the connections are the same as in the headlights that I have here. My guess is that with the ground, high beam, and low beam, and the extra connections for the turn signal and daytime running lights, that those should be standard, but just make sure to check. And if they're not, just figure out what they are, and then just on the standard Kenworth plug, changing to match what you have. Okay. Can't believe it, but that bus bar actually fit in there perfect. Got the grommet in the top. Blue wire is the ground. You notice how I cut the connection between the two, between that one and the yellow one, so it's only going to be a ground. And then we have the yellow is the blinkers, and the red is the running lights. So hopefully, yeah, I think it fit in there perfect. So I'm probably gonna have to like paint that with some kind of material so it doesn't get all rusted out. That's stainless steel, so it should be okay. Connection should be good, but I still have to get the connections on the other side and get them hooked up inside the hood. Okay, here's the connection. I've got shrink wrap around it. I'm gonna end up putting some of that plastic around it. And this is just to hold it in place to make sure it's working correctly. I already checked the blinker, the yellow wire. It worked fine. I'm not a huge fan of this type of splicing because it's kind of chintzy. I'd rather have like weatherproof stuff, but I thought this is probably the easier way to go. And if I have to do any changes, I'll make those later. And then also tied into this one here, which is the running lights and a ground. The blue wire is a ground, red's the power wire for the running lights. So that should be good to go on this side. So I'll probably put the headlights, put that all back together on this side, and see if everything works the way I've designed it. So ready to put the bezels back on, put the lights in, and give it a test. As you can see, I have the dark blue wire as ground wire. The yellow wire is a turn signal, and the red wire is for running lights. So this is split up. These 6 little screws here are running lights. These 4 are turn signals, and this one is the only ground one that's required from the bezel in the front. Everything kind of worked out okay. Now let's see if if we get it all to work. So shrink wrapped everything, and we should be good to go. So I don't know if it's the older you get, the wiser you get. Not quite sure, but yeah, a heck of a lot easier to wire all this stuff up with the bus bar out, because then all you gotta do is just pull the these wires in, put it in place, and you're good to go. Now the only difference on this side is you're gonna see a jumper wire here. Problem is these little connectors here that jump these with these metal pieces. There's one that was missing in behind that, if you can see it, right in this location here. Do you know how much those things are? For a pack of them, $20. So I decided just to make a nice little loop, and that suffices. So we're gonna get these the headlights put in, get this mounted back up in there, attach the wires on the inside of the truck for the power supply to it, and test the lights. All right, so that's mounted in. Yeah, that worked great. Not a problem at all. So now I'll get these lights hooked up, and then we'll connect the ones inside the truck, or behind the truck here. All right, here we go. Working all day on this, and let's see if this works. I hope it does work. So let's give it a try, and we'll see first. So, get no lights at first. We'll try the running lights. Oh, well, those aren't the running lights. Those are the cab lights. Let me try a different switch. All right, that's the running lights. Oh yeah, they're working. So we got the yellow and the two inner ones. So that's like a running light during the day. Okay, so now if we're gonna go low beam, so the two inside should work. But you know what? Let's try something else first. Let's try the blinkers, because the blinkers, I think if I turn the running lights off, the blinkers, those yellow things, should work without the running lights. Let me see if there's a difference. Oh yeah, that was good. So I think without the running lights, I should still get that. Let me turn the running lights off. So this would be during the daytime. Okay, yeah, they were great. So those are working fine on that side. So this would be a daytime with no lights on, no running lights, just blinkers. So let me try this side, see if this side works. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. So those are working. All right, so now low beam. That's right. So the low beam, the outside, these are going. but these aren't, because those are the running lights. So those are working pretty good. All right, so now high beam should turn everything on. These and both of those. Let me try that. Yeah. Holy man, those are bright. So, success. I just have to aim the lights probably because they're probably all messed up. But, well, you know, I had to kind of try it before I videotape. It's kind of like Ohio, where North Carolina said they're the first in flight. Do you think the Wright brothers went down to North Carolina with all the press and never tested their plane here in Ohio? Look that one up on the Smithsonian. Well, that's it. So successful light upgrade for the Kenworth, and I hope this video helps. I'll put some cost in there for the lights, because they're a lot cheaper than buying LED lights for a semi. And enjoy. You have any questions, just leave a comment, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can.